Okay, hello. Anybody there from the Dharma Friends who would like to say something? Ah, David is there. What would I do without David, I tell you?
You'll do just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just to say hi and welcome to all of those who maybe weren't with us at the first few sessions. So, welcome all. Chag Sameach. And please, Anila.
Okay. Okay, so from the session before, do you have any questions? Now we have time. Because otherwise I start with the ceremony and, just being here and listening and looking at the words, it doesn't mean that you have then received the vows or that you've taken precepts and you have become a Buddhist. This is totally up to you, right? And as I said, I think the Buddhas and whoever else is looking after us who has a bit more wisdom and more compassion than we ordinary beings, then if we alternate a bit and if we manipulate a bit and you have different objects of refuge that speak to you, then that's absolutely fine. I will just go through the Buddhist text, what we usually do when we take precepts. And we do short reflections to create these attitudes or states of mind. Okay, so is that clear? You can just participate and just look or just even say, and then at the end you think, oh no, it doesn't speak to me, right? Because, when I was still in Tushita and there was quite a lot of Israelis who came to do this introduction to Buddhism courses. I don't know how it is now. That was like 30 years ago, something. And I was always wondering, because we did have a few rules, right? Like silence and if you smoke, you have to go out there and all these kind of things. And it seemed that, they were absolutely as if it doesn't apply to them. And then I came to Israel and then I started giving courses here and I saw the same thing. I mean, and then at one point, I still remember it was in Kfar Monash, I think. And I said, look, I mean, these rules are there to make the practice for you easier, like to support your practice, like the silence and, or eating only once a day and these kind of things. And then so I said, why are you just, not even hiding that you're not keeping them? And then they say, well, in Israel, we have rules to break them. So I thought, okay, now I understand. So please, don't take the vows in order to break them. You're not doing any harm to anybody. You don't have to prove, that you're very courageous. Okay, I'm taking the vows, but I'm breaking them because they are rules in a way, right? And don't feel obliged. Vows and rules. It has to, especially vows, you have to take them voluntarily. Otherwise, there's no benefit, and also there's no point. All right, all clear. So we will start, and also it's not like, dead serious. If in the middle of it you have a query, you have a question, maybe don't open the mic, but put it in the chat, and then I stop and look at the question or at the doubt or, something like that. And then so we can go really slow. Okay? Still okay? I guess if you don't say anything, then it is fine. Okay. One thing is, it's a bit like Yom Kippur, that first when I came, I thought, oh gosh, what a heavy day, what a sad day, it was terrible. Until it was David who told me about, no, Yom Kippur is the most joyful day in the year. And I do agree with him because that's what it's for. We take these vows with a lot of joy, that we are not sitting with our kind of negative actions, or how to say, or with our unskillful actions that we have done that we recognize as unskillful, we don't have just to sit there and wait until the karma ripens. We can do something about them. So if that is not joyful, then I don't know what is joyful, you know. I mean, there's nothing to be sad about. And also, if you wallow too much in your negativities and you go, oh, I'm so bad and this is terrible and all this, it doesn't help you and it doesn't help anybody else, because then you get very unhappy about yourself. And when you are unhappy, you cannot bear having happy people around you. And, you know, you're kind of spoiling their happiness. There's an expression in English, a wet blanket. It's like, it's terrible. So don't become like this. There's hope for everybody. And I went to do some shopping this morning, and there was like a poster that said, let us help us to spread hope in Israel. And I found that very, we need to be reminded not to be dragged down and not to just only think about the negative things, but it seems as if the human mind kind of is attracted to these difficult things, to the things that are not going well and this and that. It's okay to be attracted to things that are not going well if you have a remedy to do something about them. If there's no remedy, because now also the difficult situation, there's no remedy. I mean, as an individual, what are we going to do? So then what's the point of knowing everything that happens and discussing it and talking about it? It's very difficult. Whereas if there is a remedy, it's good to see that something can be remedied, but also then, wanting to have a mind that is more compassionate, more wise, more calm. Again, don't overdo it. Don't put yourself under pressure. Go slowly. It has to be done with a lot of compassion. You're not here to prove anything to anybody. Just learn also to be happy with the way we are, and happy about the good things that we have, right? So, and it starts right like this. It starts at the beginning, actually, with the joyful mind. So this is the text. I can put it in the chat. So whoever wants to download it, you can. It always takes me a while to be able to do that. I know it's not the Dropbox. Wait. Ooh, see? Oh, la, la, they want to know all kinds of things from me. I try again. I should have sent it to David, then he would have been better, but maybe in my next life, I will be able to do that without any problems. If the Zoom still exists, you see me also, I assume I will be reborn as a human. I will have access to Dharma. I will know about these 8 Mahayana precepts. I think it went, yeah, okay. Yes, did you receive it? This is the text, so you can download it. And if you want to take these precepts on your own, this is fine. It's, as I said, it's great. It's a great source for joy. Getting up early in the morning, because if you take them, in the Buddhist way, you take them before it gets light in the morning, and then you keep them for 24 hours, and then you can be really happy about yourself also. It is a cause for instant happiness almost. Then problems come in again and all this. So, okay, like that. So, so this is how you take them the Buddhist way. So then if you are interested, you can download it and read it. This we already went through, but we can go through this again in case you were not here this afternoon. So you promise to yourself, foremost of all, not to create negative karma, and not to create negative karma like big, right? So not to kill any sentient being, even an insect, voluntarily, okay? It's always, in order to create the karmic imprint, it has to be done. You want to do this. Otherwise, the imprint is created, yes, but it doesn't become very strong. So if you are taking the precepts now and by coincidence, you kill an ant or just out of habit, most of the people, you see a mosquito, duck, you go like this, isn't it? So it's just such a habit, and then you go, I want to, then you think, I would like to have this, to get rid of this instinct of whatever disturbs me, I just kill it. Yeah, for us, it's only insects. Luckily, for other people, it's bigger things. Then do not steal, that is, do not take what has not been given. Then do not engage in sexual activity. So it's usually when we take the vow for life, it is no sexual misconduct, here is sexual activity. Do not tell lies. This is why also it's quite good. If we would now be in stable care, we would ask you to be in silence from now on. So I also told Ronnie, I said, tomorrow I will be in silent. So don't get, don't think that I'm angry at you. I will just not talk, because then you are protected. Do not take intoxicants, including alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. Do not eat food. Okay. Where is that? Is it possible to take only part of the vows and not all of them? Yes. If you can take all, it's best. We always want the best. So if you cannot take all of them, then just take whatever you think you can keep, but don't forget. We take vows and then we break them. Why do we take vows? To make us more conscious and more aware. If we only take the vows that we are 100% sure that we can keep them, then there's no point of taking vows, because what's the point? Yeah. So like this. So then if you some of them you don't want to take or you cannot take, then check, why is it that I don't want to take this vow? So because, as it said, as we said this afternoon, just living for one day in one vow has so much benefit, and it is so easy. So again, it's up to you, What about number 8 of the precepts? Why not sing and dance? Never, ever. No, just 24 hours. That is all. Not ever, ever. It is not some, it's not a negative action. Okay, actions in general, they are by nature negative when somebody suffers, and some are not by nature negative, but they become negative if you have taken a vow. So there's nothing wrong with singing and dancing, but if you, for example, if you come to stable care, to a meditation retreat, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the night, somebody, or the middle of the day, somebody has taken the guitar with them, they start singing and dancing, and it will be distracting. And also what these 8 precepts do, because we kind of have a lot of band-aids, when we don't feel so well, when we are bored, and all this, we kind of distract ourselves with something that is pleasant. And this is okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The only thing is we will never discover the nature of our mind, right? Yeah, mosquitoes can pass diseases, that is true. I have had hundreds of mosquito bites, I never got a disease from them, okay? So again, it's like, be careful when you go, oh, but this and this and this. I mean, cars can kill, isn't it? Do you then kill the car or the driver? Dogs can bite. Do you kill the dog? It's, again, yes, it's true. Mosquitoes can pass diseases. This is absolutely true. But they also would like to live. I mean, they didn't choose to pass diseases. That's just the way it is. But again, if you are taking the precepts, try not to find kind of, back doors where you can go out. Just to make it meaningful and to make it beneficial, try to have some faith that it's a good thing to kind of weaken these instincts that we have. Like today I was in the street and there was a cockroach, and somebody was sitting on the bus station, and she jumped up. I thought there is a poisonous snake or something, and with so much anger and so much hate, she was kind of stepping on that cockroach, feeling totally justified. But the thing is, this moment of anger it's lingering, it's creating habits. So I wasn't shocked. I just saw her and I thought, wow, amazing. Because also, these instincts, I also had this instinct of killing mosquitoes. I was very good at it before I became a Buddhist. It was very difficult at the beginning when you just have one mosquito in the room, and you could actually kill it. And it goes the whole night, but to not kill it, if it's only one, is so difficult. But it's really worthwhile when you then look at your mind, right? Afterwards, when maybe you have been bitten, okay, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's like that. But again, you decide what you want to do. Did we go through all of them? No, we didn't. Then do not tell lies. This is best when you are in silence. Then do not take intoxicants, because we want to have a clear mind. We want to see reality as it is. We want to realize emptiness. We want to be compassionate. I mean, how much suffering is there because of drugs, right? So I was an alcoholic. And it's like, wow, to then stop being an alcoholic and to be able to live without these crutches. And also singing and dancing is also a crutch in a way. So then it's very difficult. So to not eat food at the wrong time, that is afternoon in the Buddhist way. So as I said this afternoon, you decide. Best is you do the Yom Kippur fast, because then you don't have to think, okay, when can I eat? What can I drink? Can I drink this? Can I not drink? It's nothing. It's easiest. It's with everything like this, No sexual activity, fantastic. No killing, even mosquitoes who pass on diseases. It's like, no. So you give yourself the freedom of no. And we don't see this as a freedom. We see it as a restriction. Can you explain again about the second attachment, being attached to this, to samsara, you mean, probably? Yeah, so it's basically, we are in samsara, and samsara is like a prison. That sometimes, lives are different, or even in one life, sometimes life is very good. So the prison cell is very nice, but you're still in prison. You still don't have the freedom. We don't have the freedom of not becoming angry. We don't have the freedom of not being afraid. We don't have the freedom of being compassionate. This is all habits and tendencies. We think we can make decisions. Yeah, maybe we can make a decision kind of, I feel anger arises. I have no choice. I have to see it. There's a condition, and the klesha, or the emotion arises. And then if I am aware, maybe I have a short moment of being able to make a decision. Will I shut up now, or do I say something? And the longer, or the more aware we are, the longer that this gap is between, this not from me, this also from Viktor Frankl, by the way, that he says between contact and reaction, there's a short gap. And in that gap lies your future. This is Viktor Frankl. Okay, so I'm so happy when I say Viktor Frankl, everybody's happy and nods. When I say the Buddha, it's like, not so sure. So it's great. It's great that Viktor Frankl says things that the Buddha kind of says, but very clear and very scientific. And it's true. We do have choices, but these choices, the stronger our instincts and habits and tendencies are, for kind of the more harmful things, the smaller the choice is. So by taking these vows, then we strengthen that whole thing a little bit. And then being attached to samsara, meaning, being attached to having a human, an ordinary body, being attached to having senses that experience pleasures and all these kinds of things. That's what it means. So we can have pleasures in samsara because we have a body and there is objects which can give us pleasure, but we're also still under the control of our negative emotions. We are not free. We're not liberated. That's the second attachment. Like if you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. So the renunciation is not to give up pleasure, but the renunciation is to give up the causes for suffering, which are karma and kleshas, negative emotions. That is what we give up. That is what we renounce, the causes for suffering. And that's difficult because we do have very strong habits. And then taking vows slowly strengthen these habits. Now I can tell you a totally stupid thing. I am very attached to French fries, right? It's not good for me. I get a headache. I still, because there's so much attachment, I still eat them. Yesterday I was in Jaffa and I was waiting for the bus in Clock Tower. And the restaurants around there, they all offer fried stuff. I could have walked into one and bought some, but I didn't even want to. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. So for you, it might be totally trivial because you couldn't see my attachment to French fries, which then afterwards I have headaches, right? So I was so happy. I went home and had a salad for dinner and all this. So I thought, like, wow, I don't believe it. That even that very strong attachment, it might come back. I'm not kind of naive to think I will never have it again. But at least once, you see, this is another thing when we see, well, at one point I can be free from that, even if it's just one moment, and to taste the freedom, not having to walk into one of these restaurants and buy a portion of chips or French fries. So it's, I know for you it might sound totally trivial. For me, it was a big thing last night. Really, I came home so happy. I wish I also had this thing about anger and attachment, but anyway, it's. I see that it's going forward. Okay, then do not eat food at the wrong time. So if it is the Buddhist fast, because you will eat in the evening, probably because everybody eats. So then you would have breakfast. So like if you take the precepts now, from now on, you can drink. Liquid stuff is okay as long as it's not thick, like milk or fruit juices with pulp. And you can put milk in your tea. That's the Buddhist fast. You can drink as much as you want, but you only have breakfast tomorrow morning. And that breakfast is no eggs, and no garlic and no onions, no meat. So they are, you can ask why. Well, eggs and meat is clear. Onion and garlic is because it increases the winds in your body, so your meditation becomes not so calm. This is for people who do a lot of meditation, yoga, and all this. They know the effect of garlic and onions when you do a lot of yoga and you feel the difference that when you have a meal where there is garlic, after a while, when you haven't eaten garlic for a while, this maybe some people can confirm. Not to sit on large and high seats and beds. This has to do with arrogance, like you have higher status. In India, like the common people would sit on the floor, whereas the Maharajas and all these people would sit on high seats and elephants and all this. So this is something that we can keep without any difficulty. So that's a good thing. Do not wear perfume, garlands, ornaments, do not sing, dance, and so forth. Perfume means you can wash yourself with soap that smells, you can brush your teeth, you can put on deodorant, that's all fine. Well, things that you do, that you normally do, but not strong smells. And we all know, what we do also is trying to not to expose our senses to very strong things, like music that we really like, then, the mind kind of pulls along with it. Strong smells. I don't know if you've ever been in an elevator where everybody is wearing, like with 20 people, a morning after they came out of their, making their toilet and then going to work, and people are wearing perfume. Is it pleasant? Not really, is it? You go like, oh. And so this is it. It's like putting on perfume is to cover up the dirtiness of the body. We see the body as something totally pure, and we paint it, and we have to wash it all the time, and we have to upkeep doctor and all these kind of things. But by nature, not being attached to samsara means also not being attached to having such a body. But we have attachment because we think it's so wonderful. On the other hand, body is wonderful to do spiritual practices. Okay. Do you still have questions? Otherwise, we start with the ritual here. Okay, good. So, as a practicing Buddhist, you have teachers that that open the door to the Dharma for you. It's maybe just for those who have taken refuge, it's really good from time to time to think, what was the reason I decided to take refuge to become a Buddhist? What was the moment, and who was there? Who was the teacher, or something like that? And when you remember, most of the time, your heart totally opens out of gratitude, not just for the teacher, but for you to having made that decision to really engage in practicing in kind of active spiritual practice of mind training. And for that, we need living examples. Just books are not enough. So this is why when it says the Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is also Sangha, so I could say the master or the teacher, It's like it's a living teacher. It can be a Rinpoche, it can be anybody, it can be a lay person, it can be an ordained person, that when you heard something and you thought, yeah, maybe not so much consciously, yes, I have to do something, but you started to understand there's a possibility to be free from suffering, or there's a possibility to work with my mind. Yeah, for me it was like, oh wow, I want to try this out. I saw that I have methods, I have
לא, אני מסיימת, אני לא מצליחה לצאת.
I have methods, I have living examples, and I trust that this will work if I apply it. Not 200% trust, but kind of it is worthwhile trying. So just for half a minute, just try to remember for the Buddhists now, or for the other spiritual practitioners. If you think you're a spiritual practitioner, did this happen with a book, or did it happen with a living person? And then towards that living person, you see devotion, joy, gratitude, appreciation. It comes up quite easily by itself. All of it is positive mind. With the positive mind, we are protected from doing negative karma. You can say it with me, you don't have to. The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. In all the Gurus I take refuge. The Guru is Buddha, the Guru is Dharma, the Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. In all the Gurus I take refuge. Lama Sangye Lama Chödeshin Lama Getunte Kungi Chempo Lama In la manam la kyapsu chi. Because if we look, without that living person, I wouldn't know what the Buddha is. I wouldn't know what the Dharma is, definitely. And I definitely wouldn't have a Sangha. So this is why it says the Guru is Buddha. Okay, then taking refuge, generating bodhicitta. Taking refuge is, sometimes also it's maybe not so skillful to take refuge, but I like it because in Hebrew is miklat, isn't it? And somewhere where you think you're safe. Now it's not the Guru, it's not the Buddha who is protecting you, but it's the methods that you will apply that will protect you from being harmed, because you will do purification and stop your negative actions as much as possible. Like it gives the mind a safe direction, a direction which takes us where we want to go, being liberated from being under the control of taking on again and again and again the 5 contaminated aggregates, being under the control of wrong use and negative emotions, being liberated from that, and then going even further, developing the mind to such an extent that we can be spontaneously, uninterruptedly, and effortlessly always knowing how to be of benefit to others. No burnout, no self-concern, no fear, no, just no kind of separation, me and others and all this. That's the mind of a Buddha, and this is our potential. So that is then generating bodhicitta. I want to become a Buddha in order to have these skillful means to be able to be of benefit to others. We just recited once, okay? With the thought, desiring to liberate transmigrating beings, I always take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until the heart of enlightenment is achieved. Now, if you have such a goal, but it's not Buddhism, then you would say, I always take refuge in whatever your object of refuge is, until I have attained the goal. Also in Buddhism, it's very clear. It's like, the basis, what you're working with, the 2 truths, ultimate truths, relative truths, the methods to understand these 2 truths, compassion and wisdom, or method and wisdom, and the result is the 2 bodies of a fully awakened being. So it's very clear, and it's very big. So it's kind of also very clear bodhicitta. I want to be of benefit to all sentient beings, so I don't need to make a choice. It's very easy. It's very simple. No, easy not, but it's very simple. I don't have to choose. At the moment, of course, we choose. But then as a Buddha, you don't choose. It's like a mother who has 15 children. She doesn't choose which one she loves more, but she will help the one that needs the help now. Yeah. So with perseverance, acting with wisdom, compassion, and loving kindness in front of the Buddhas for the benefit of sentient beings, I generate the thought of full enlightenment, meaning I want to go there. Then purifying the place. Again, this we could do a teaching on that for a week. It means that whatever we perceive is not pure. It's not pure because it's not pure because it's dirty or anything like that, but because we don't see it the way it exists. We see it as inherently existing, separate from my mind, and so on, but it exists as a dependent arising. So we try to weaken that very strong grasping that we have at the way I see something, this is the way it is. And we dissolve it into emptiness and let it arise as a pure land. Pure land is a land where nothing is harmful and nobody suffers. Everywhere may the ground be pure, free of pebbles and so forth, as level as the palm of the hand, in the nature of Vaidurya and soft. Vaidurya is a very beautiful stone that emits, kind of is transparent, and if the light goes on it, the light goes out. Then the next verse is also the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, they're always there. Their energy is always there. Their wish to help and assist us is always there. It's just that we forget. We forget that we have access to the Buddhas all the time. And by having access to the Buddhas, we also have access to our spiritual practice and to our own Buddha nature. So this is why in all the sadhanas, we ask them to come here. We don't need to do that. But when we ask them to come here, they appear in my mind. I remember, they are here. savior of all sentient beings without exception, divine destroyer of the unbearable hordes of Maras and their forces, perfect knower of all things without exception, Bhagavan, together with your retinue, please come here. Then we always put out offerings. Making offerings to your object of veneration or your object of refuge creates a happy mind. It's as simple as that. If you like somebody, if you respect somebody, you give them a gift, makes you happy. Makes you much happier than keeping the gift for yourself. It's very simple. It's a very simple way of creating positive mind states. But, of course, the devotion and the reference has to be there. Otherwise, what's the point? If I give a gift to somebody I dislike, there's no joy. Or if I give a gift to somebody I have no interest in, also there's not much joy. It's just, the baker, you throw the 2 shekel, is like, or hopefully a bit more, but anyway, it's not much joy there, unfortunately. We would have so much moments when we can generate joy, and we all miss them. So may divine and human offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, become clouds of finest Samantabhadra offerings, filling the entire realm of space. So then the mind becomes very creative. You see, the Buddhas are omniscient. If we visualize an offering, they receive it. So then we close our eyes and we visualize the most beautiful flowers, the most beautiful food, the most beautiful drinks, the most beautiful sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and we all offer it to the Buddhas. I made here a small altar. You can make that also, but you can also just visualize. When you say, oh no, my family would think I'm going a bit cuckoo, when I kind of put out offerings for somebody who is not even here. So you just visualize. Then offering cloud mantra. Now again, the power of mantras. This offering that we have just visualized or put out, it becomes a perfect offering when we understand, at least intellectually, I, the one who's making the offering itself, and the ones who are receiving the offerings, like the Buddhas, all 3 totally empty of any inherent existence. We remind ourselves again and again and again and again, because things are empty, they can exist. It's not, even though things are empty, still they do exist. It's not like this. It's because they are empty, they can exist. If they wouldn't be empty of inherent existence, nothing could exist. If things would be themselves, they could not be created. They could not change. They would be totally static. But it appears to us like this. So anyway, so this just, we just recited one time. And what it does, it increases the offerings. So yeah, you need a certain amount of faith by doing that. But, I always think, even if it's not true, what's the harm of saying a mantra? There's no harm. I'm not doing anything more stupid at that time when I say mantras, at least. Mantra means protection for the mind. And you don't need to know what it means, okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasara Pramatana Tathagataya Arate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajema Vajema Tese Vajema Vidya Vajema Bodhichinta Vajema Bodhi Menda Pasa Kramana Vaje Sarva Karma Avara Pishodana Vaje Soa. Sorry, I went a bit fast at the beginning, forgetting that most of you don't know the mantra. So anyway, you see here, just by remembering this mantra once, you receive 8 benefits. You have made offerings to Buddhas equaling the number of atoms of the sand grains in the river Ganga, or about that. You have prostrated at the holy feet of all those Buddhas. Maybe not, because if you're Jewish, then you don't do that. You have made offerings of flowers, incense, flower garlands, ornaments, ointments, and so on. You will become free from all negative karmas and obscurations. You will have all virtue. You will see all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and they will give you breath, meaning they will free you from the suffering of the lower realms and so forth. If we can remember the Buddhas, our Dharma practice, our spiritual practice at the time of death, we will be protected from being born in the lower states, but it's not the Buddha who is protecting us, it is our own mind. Then there's, there's all kinds of beings also in the Buddhist world. There's devas, nagas, yakshas, smell-eaters, asuras, garudas, kinnaras, mahoragas. If you read sutras, then you come across them all the time. A Vajrapani is a bodhisattva, and the four guardians will always follow, guard, protect, and hide you from obstacles. You will be reborn in Amitabha's Pure Land, blissful realm. That's the best one, because there it will just go forward until enlightenment. I definitely want to go there. I tell you, this is my hope. I do some practices to be reborn in my next life there. Okay. Then this one is just to reaffirm to ourselves that what we're doing is we do have some faith that there's truth in that. By the power of truth of the three rare sublime ones is Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. The blessings of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the great wealth of the completed two types of merits, and the pure and inconceivable sphere phenomena. May these piles of clouds of offerings arising through transformation by the Bodhisattvas, Arya, Samantabhadra, Manjushri, and so forth, unimaginable and inexhaustible, equaling the sky, arise, and in the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions be received. So even if you say, oh no, I didn't put out any offerings, I cannot visualize. So we say, these offerings, I make them like Samantabhadra and Manjushri. So then these offerings are being made like Samantabhadra and Manjushri make offerings, and then we get all the merit from it. So very skillful again. There's no excuse saying, oh no, I can't do this, no, I can't visualize, no, I can't make an altar. Then we just say, okay, I visualize this and like Samantabhadra and Manjushri, and then it becomes so. The Buddhas received them. The 7-limb prayer, just a sec. Can you please explain a little slower, please? No, not really. Also, these kinds of things are maybe not so terribly important. Because it is Buddhist, and because in order to understand these kinds of explanations, you need to know the Four Noble Truths, you need to have faith in your Buddha nature and all these kinds of things. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. Otherwise it just becomes a little bit hocus pocus, like a little bit superstitious. But if you are interested in it, then, you have to engage a little bit more in Dharma, not a little bit, you engage in Buddhist practice, and then you will learn step by step. Buddhism is not really a kind of ready-made, that there's a question, then here's the answer. We try it out, we experience, we see what it does, and then we go from there. Then the next one is the 7 limbs. Last Saturday we talked in length about this. It creates 7 positive minds. So I prostrate reverentially with my body, speech, and mind. Again, this is to your object of refuge. I know that you have a kind of vow, or you're not allowed to bow to idols, but it's you forget about the word prostrate and body, but you take I bow with speech and mind. So that would be I sing praises, or I recite praises which inspire me about the qualities of my object of refuge. And definitely the mind is appreciating, gratitude, joy, devotion, and respect. So those are very positive minds which give us space, make us happy already now, make us calm. Every time you praise somebody from the bottom of your heart, you're happy, you have space, you're calm, you're not agitated, you're not afraid. Then again, the offering, I present clouds of every type of offering, both actually arranged and mentally emanated out of gratitude. We want to offer something. Then is the recognition that we do and have done negative actions, not holding them back, but to confess them to the Buddhas. We don't have to be afraid that they will turn it against us. I confess all my negative actions and downfalls collected from beginningless time. and really wanting to make amendments also goes very well with Yom Kippur. I rejoice in the virtues of ordinary beings and Aryas. We not only see the negative things, we also see the positive ones. Then to our object of refuge, we ask, please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for transmigratory beings. I dedicate my own and others' virtues to the great enlightenment. Again, to reaffirm to ourselves, why do I do this? I want to be able to lead and inspire others to practice until they have attained enlightenment. For that, I myself have to attain enlightenment. Then mandala, again, also is like, whoa, needs a lot of explanations, which is kind of strange. But you can think that we offer a pure land, okay? So again, whatever you think is a pure land, we offer that. So this is from, the time of the Buddha. They thought that the earth was flat, there's a Mount Meru, then there's continents around. We can see that's not like this, but it doesn't matter. So when we think of our planet, you just transform it into a pure land and you think, may all beings enjoy this pure land, right? And then the next part is, why can we not be in a pure land? Why don't we see a pure land? Because we have attachment, anger, and ignorance, which create friends, enemies, and strangers. We have a body we're very attached to, enjoyments we're very attached to, and now this we offer to the Buddhas. And what is really, really important and goes well with renunciation, when we offer my attachment, my anger, my ignorance, which creates friends, enemies, strangers, my body and enjoyments, are now very important. Without any sense of loss, I offer them. We have to learn to drop these things, to let them go, understanding that they make us suffer. And the Buddhas, of course, they take it. They're not afraid of them. Please kindly accept them and bless me to pacify the three poisons, his wrong views, attachment, and anger, independence on their own objects, friends, enemies, and strangers. Idam guru ranna mandalakam niryatayami means, please, master or teacher, accept this mandala, which is beautified by jewels. Okay. Now that's the preliminaries. That's to prepare the mind so that the mind is ready to take precepts. Then again, to increase the joy of being able to take precepts, then this one verse from the Sutra, the King of Concentration, though you offer service with a calm mind to 100 billion times 10 million Buddhas with food and drink, umbrellas, flags, and garlands of light offerings, for 10 million eons, equaling the number of sun rays in the Pacific Ocean, the merit of someone enjoying living in one vow. So of course, if you have more vows, is even better, for one day and night, when the Holy Dharma is degenerating, and the teachings of the one gone to bliss or ceasing is particularly more exalted than that. And then we take these precepts. So again, it is usually done kneeling on your right knee. If you want to do that, you're used to it, you do it. If not, you can just remain seated. The main point is your mind. Like when we received the vows from the Buddha for these 24 hours, or from your object of refuge. So kind of the kneeling is a very respectful gesture. And then we say, if you want to say, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dwelling in the 10 directions, please pay attention to me. Just as the previous Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly completed Buddhas, who like the divine wise horse and the great elephant, did what had to be done, performed actions, laid down the burden. So all the Buddhas, they have taken these precepts, they have taken vows. Why? In order to lay down the burden. The burden is the 5 contaminated aggregates together with the kleshas, with the negative emotion. Then after having done that, subsequently attained their own welfare, their own liberation, completely exhausted the fetters to existence, like all bondage with cyclic existence, and then had perfect speech, well-liberated minds, and well-liberated wisdom. And they did that for the welfare of all sentient beings, in order to benefit, in order to liberate, in order to eliminate famine, in order to eliminate war, in order to stop the harm of the four elements, in order to eliminate sickness. So we can think, I dedicate this taking of these vows for the hostages to be released, for the war to stop, for all the people around the world who have power to make decisions. May they have the wisdom and the compassion to make decisions that are based on creating peace and not how to destroy the other. Or you can dedicate to, all your positive energy from taking vows you give away to specific people that you think, you think they need positive energy or whatever. Yeah, so then in order to fully complete the 37 practices harmonious with enlightenment, it's like certain practices, and in order to definitely actualize the unsurpassed result of perfect complete enlightenment, perfectly performed the restoring and purifying ordination. This is what we're doing now, taking these 8 precepts. So it says, just like all the ones who are Buddhas now did that in the past, then also, similarly, also I who am called, you say your name, from this time until sunrise tomorrow, for the welfare of all sentient beings. And then why? In order to benefit, in order to liberate, in order to eliminate famine, in order to eliminate war, in order to stop the harm of the four elements, in order to eliminate sickness, in order to fully complete the 37 practices harmonious with enlightenment, and in order to definitely actualize the unsurpassed result of perfect complete enlightenment, will perfectly undertake the restoring and purifying ordination. So kind of what goes with this, that the Buddhas did this, now I want to take these precepts, and then what's very important, I know what I'm doing and I want to do this. Nobody forced me to do that. So then, usually one does it 3 times, but I think it's okay to do it just once. So you think, or we do it one more time at least, and you think then after that repetition, if you want to take these vows, you think that you have received them, and you hold them for 24 hours in your mind stream, or until 1850, 10 minutes before 7 in the evening, then you keep them. And then it doesn't mean you can go around and kill or whatever, but keep them and then be very happy knowing that now I've been holding vows who during these 24 hours uninterruptedly, they purify my negative karma. This is wonderful. And it's so easy. It is so easy. But we're not naive, and think, okay, tomorrow then the war will stop. No, we are creating causes that we're not going to be involved in wars anymore, or sicknesses or famines. This is what we're doing. Like my karma is finished. So when everybody's karma to be involved in a war is finished, there will be no more wars. As long as we still have these karmic seeds that create the karmic result of being involved in a war, there will be war. This is the law of cause and effect. Okay, so we do it one more time. If you want to if you want to kind of take them, then you think after this repetition is finished, now I am holding these vows in my mind stream. So it's quite a conscious, aware, mindful thing, not just, mindlessly saying the words and then you have the vows. It's not like this. You don't understand some of these words like wise horse and great elephant. Again, it's not so important. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dwelling in the 10 directions, please pay attention to me. Just as the previous Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddhas who, like the divine wise horse and the great elephant, did what had to be done, performed actions, laid down the burden, subsequently attained their own welfare, completely exhausted the fetters to existence, had perfect speech, well-liberated minds, and well-liberated wisdom, for the welfare of all sentient beings, in order to benefit, in order to liberate, in order to eliminate famine, in order to eliminate war, in order to stop the harm of the four elements, in order to eliminate sickness, in order to fully complete the 37 practices harmonious with enlightenment, and in order to definitely actualize the unsurpassed result of perfect complete enlightenment, perfectly performed the restoring and purifying ordination. Similarly, also I who am called, from this time until sunrise tomorrow, for the welfare of all sentient beings, in order to benefit, in order to liberate, in order to eliminate famine, in order to eliminate war, in order to stop the harm of the four elements, in order to eliminate sickness, in order to fully complete the 37 practices harmonious with enlightenment, and in order to definitely actualize the unsurpassed result of perfect complete enlightenment, will perfectly undertake the restoring and purifying ordination. And then we recall what are these vows. Then from now on until tomorrow evening, I will not kill, I will not steal others' possessions, I will not engage in sexual activity, I will not tell lies, I will avoid intoxicants from which many mistakes arise. I will not sit on large and high seats and beds. I will not eat food. For me, I will not eat food and drink at all times. For you, you decide what you want to say here. I will not, I will avoid perfumes, garlands, and ornaments, as well as dancing, singing, and so forth. Just as the arhats are the ones who are liberated, never kill, and so forth, so too will I abandon killing and so forth. May I quickly attain supreme enlightenment. May I free this world disturbed by much suffering from the ocean of existence. Then if you have been kneeling, then you sit down again. And this is the mantra of pure morality. So again, if you would be a Buddhist, you visualize Chenresig. That's Chenresig is like the one, is here, right? I know that was very quick. So anyway, just visualize the Buddha of compassion. And from his heart, light rays are coming out and entering your crown. Again, you visualize if you want to do that. You don't have to. And this kind of white light goes into you and it purifies all the broken vows. It kind of restores them that we have taken in the past and we didn't keep. And especially, it gives us the ability to be able to keep pure ethical conduct spontaneously, effortlessly, right? Like, for example, at the moment, I hope, none of us has the wish or the instinct of killing humans. But it's not all the humans are like this. But we have tamed that action of having this urge or wanting or mindlessly killing humans. So we see we can kind of tame the body. None of us goes around stealing stuff that can be stolen easily. And none of us goes around creating sexual misconduct. So we can see the body we have tamed, but that's not everybody, but we have. So if we can tame the body, we can also then, with time, tame the speech and tame the mind. So we think that this light that is coming into us gives us this awareness, this ability to really see when some kind of instinct or tendency or habits comes up, to be able to say no. And then the instinct will not repeat itself with time. But we have many, many, many instinct and tendencies and habits like this, not just one. Millions of these instinct potentials. Om Amogashila Sambara Sambara Bara Bara Ma Shuddha Satopema Vibhushite Buchanana Samantavalokite Om Peso Om Amogashila Sambara Sambara Bara Bara Ma Shuddha Satopema Pochanara dara samantavalokite umpeso mamogashila sambara sambara bara bara mashuda satopema vibushite Pochanara samantavalokite umpeso. So I will continue silently, and if you don't know it by heart, you just keep visualizing that light from whatever source you trust. Kind of purifies all your instincts of doing negative stuff, also negative things to yourself, by the way, and gives you this ability to really say no to kleshas, to shempa. And I finished the 21-time mantra. Om Namo Gashila Sambara Sambara. Om Namo Gashila Sambara Sambara Bara Bara Mashuda Satopema Vibhushite Bhuchanara Dara Samanta Avalokite Umpeso. Then to reaffirm to ourselves why we're doing this, by abiding in faultless morality of the Dharma rules, completely pure morality, and important this one, and morality free from conceit. We're not looking down on others who are not ethical. May I complete the perfection of morality, or if you don't like the word morality, ethical conduct, because it's the second of the 6 perfections. Then we always seal it with emptiness. Due to all the past, present, and future merits collected by me, and all the merits of the 3 times collected by the numberless Buddhas and numberless sentient beings, which are completely empty of existing from their own side, may I, who am completely empty of existing from my own side, achieve Buddhahood, which is completely empty of existing from its own side, lead all sentient beings who are completely empty of existing from their own side to that Buddhahood, which is completely empty of existing from its own side by myself alone, who am completely empty of existing from my own side. This is just to remind ourselves again and again and again. It appears, but doesn't exist the way that it appears. Then this is a short version of the 10th chapter of Shantideva, which has been done by His Holiness, and then we dedicate for that also. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of our merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food, may the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments, whatever diseases there are in the world. May they never occur again. When the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. And here we especially think about the hostages, not just here, here in this region, but there's other people who are held hostage, sometimes their whole life. Nobody cares about them. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. Then this is the vow of a bodhisattva also. As long as space remains, as long as transmigratory beings remain, until then, may I too remain to dispel the suffering of transmigratory beings. And then we also think, this is my contribution to the peace and happiness on this planet. Okay, thank you very much. So whether you take the precepts or not, just be happy, be relaxed, decide to, as much as possible, lead an ethical life so that you're protected from doing negative actions. And then at 8 o'clock, I leave you in the very skilled hands of David, who he will confuse you much less than I do. He will be much clearer. And also tomorrow, it will be easier, because we will talk about forgiveness. This has not much to do with religion, and only in the evening we will do a prayer to Chenresig and a reflection, and think about our own potential to be compassionate and wise and to be protected. But the rest tomorrow will be pretty non-religious, I think. Okay? All good? You can open your mic and say yes, okay?
Okay, thank you, Anila.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
please enjoy.
Thank you.
And I see you again maybe tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And just again, just be joyful. There is possibilities to purify negative karma, to let go, not to judge ourselves, not to beat ourselves up, but we need to pay the price also. It's not just, okay, nothing happened or whatever. No, we need to do something. But it's possible. So how can we not be joyful? Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
I think I can see Emmy there somewhere. Wait, I will pin you. There. Ooh. Hi. Hello, Emmy. Hello.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See, that's also, you see the face of a child. I mean, how can you not be joyful? Right? So thank you very much for making this beautiful being there, you too, Ilil and Nitzan. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Emmy.
Bye-bye. Bye.